What is up, my demons? It is Thursday. Man, it's been a while since the big bad devil daddy himself has been on a Thursday night, but it's good to be back. And as you know, it's Thirsty Thursday. So this is the time to get yourself something poured smooth. I don't care. Devil's lettuce. Go ahead. Don't care. Whatever you want to do, we're going to have a good time tonight because I have one of the hardest working indie horror actors with me tonight, David Perry. And sorry about that. I accidentally hit the button again. Holy shit. That's okay. We had some technical problems earlier, so they'll forgive us. Don't worry. What's up, Brother Cody? Make sure that you're sharing this out anywhere and everywhere for every horror fan because David Perry has been in some of the finest underground indie horror films, and we're going to be looking at that. But before we get into this madness, let's take a quick look at what all Morgrot Entertainment is all about. Check it out. All right. So that's right. If you're not following us yet on Facebook, please make sure that you are to get all the latest updates, all the buzz about myself and John Sorrell appearances this year, as we're going to be hitting some of the good old fun horror cons and whatnot. So make sure you're following us. Hey, what's up, Achilles? So we are here with David Perry. How are you tonight, my brother?
Hi, I'm good. Yeah.
He's like, I don't know what the fuck I just got myself into. Oh no.
Hey, you know what? I mean, hey, well, this is actually it feels quite right. It's hey, horror is my happy place, so I'm just really happy to be here, and I'm loving it. Yeah.
Hell yeah. It's definitely a little bit different here in the underground. I mean, I've had anybody from David Howard Thornton to Joe Rosing and Beatrice Boepley and, all kinds of people. So it's all about bringing the best in art, dark art in the underground, and indie horror is definitely a passion for all of us here. So we are honored to have you here this evening. So why don't we just get down right to it, man? How did you get started? When did you know? Yeah, I would say that's the best way to put that. At what point did you know that you wanted to act in horror films?
Well, let's see. I don't know. Since I just realized how much fun they were, because I always loved horror films, and like I said, it's
Mm-hmm.
always been my happy place since I was, since I was a wee kindergartner, and like describing Fright Night to all my kindergarten class and stuff, and then like they're like, oh, okay, they weren't like freaked out or anything, but it's like it was fun, and so, but like later on, as I got more into like acting and stuff, I was like, I would love to do a horror movie. Like when I saw movies like Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer and everything, I was like, now that's the kind of stuff I like to do. And recently with I saw Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey too, and I'm like,
Oh
I want to
man,
do horror movies like that. Like
hell
I just
yeah!
want, like if they're gonna kill me, I just want a more dignified death, though. Just something like something like spoiler alert, the guy's mother got. I don't want to spoil it for anybody that hasn't seen it, but but
Oh,
something
for sure.
dignified like that. But it was actually really good though, very good, better than the first one, and I look forward to what they do with turning it into what the Poonaverse as they call it. I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
I'll
the
see you.
Avengers for horror.
Exactly, because never really been a huge fan of the Avengers. I like them. I mean, my mother was she was the Avengers fan in the family, but I don't know. I've just always loved horror movies, and it's always just been something fun and exciting to do.
Well, and it's like almost like a fantasy world. You never know what you're going to get. I mean, we're surrounded by probably the worst fears ever, which is just life. So it's kind of like a fun thrill ride that keeps bringing us back for more. And like yourself, myself, and many others here in the Morgrot universe, we look at a lot of these iconic, horror figures as heroes, even though they do horrible things. But we enjoy it. We cheer them on. Sometimes we're terrified, and we like that. Why else would people, go to amusement parks and ride, some of these death drops and stuff? So
Oh
that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
But
and to piggyback off of that, I love like and I love how like cheering on the icons like Freddy and Jason
yo,
and Face and Jigsaw and all them and Art the Clown, what have you. And so it's like if I look at it like this, they do it so that I don't have to.
that's the best answer ever.
Yeah.
I love it.
I used to
Uh,
like when I was a kid and stuff up until like like a little bit after high school, I was always drawing pictures of people getting killed, especially people I didn't like and stuff. Like one time I just, I sat in my dean's office. I was just waiting there for the bell to ring and I go to my next class or whatever, or the lunch period or what have you. I don't remember which, but I just sat there. I had a bunch of, construction art paper and I just drew with the pens I have. I drew like let's see, my English teacher getting killed, and then a couple of those students, and then like I was like, okay, who else do I not like? Oh yeah, this person here, and I drew like I drew my junior high school principal getting killed in like a
oh
very
my goodness.
horrible. Yeah,
Did they ever see any of these though? That's the question.
they did.
Oh
They
boy.
did. Yes,
So
they
they thought you were
saw it.
certifiable.
They thought that before, so I was just confirming it basically. So I was just like, but they saw it, and then a couple of years later, Oak Park Police would see it, and I'm like, that would be a whole nother thing. And it's like, ugh, like what happened there? But hey, that case got dropped, so those charges were dropped. Because like
And
my
that's
parents,
all that
they
matters.
they hired a damn good lawyer too. They were like, oh hell no, and then they hired like this lawyer that worked closely with Jesse Jackson at the time, and they said, like what? Like y'all ain't putting him in jail for that. Yeah,
That's kind of a stupid reason anyway, because you
yeah,
know,
they want to make an example out of me. You
oh
know,
please. Forget that shit. You can't
yeah,
tell me that there's not, people that maybe fantasize about that, working at a job where there's just that one person they wish they could just, take a hammer to or something like that. And then, be, going home and then watching a good horror flick and somebody does it. It's like, yeah, I wish that was so and so. I mean,
yeah,
come on.
exactly.
That doesn't mean you're psychotic. But did you ever, have some opportunities like during school or anything like that that you acted in, like any school plays or anything like that?
No, I never got to that, but I was in drama class for the first, like freshman and sophomore year, and then it was a lot of fun. I was always shy and everything. And I was just, I was slowly coming out of my shell and like, really just like, how do you say, being what I was meant to be. Because I remember when I first started, it was like, like I would hold a book of like poems up like in front of my face like this so nobody would see me and just read it there. And they were like, okay, we got to work on that, So it's just like, and then, I was supposed to be playing a king in a scene, like one of the scenes and stuff like that. I forgot, what is it? Was it Antigone or something? I forgot which one, what name to play, but I kind of just like kind of held on to like the rafter thing, like, and just doing
Right.
my line like that and stuff. And she's like, no, you should be able to, like you're a king, you sit on the throne and you do this and that. And I was like, okay, cool. So I worked on it, and then I just, I came back again next time, and next play, I just, I was like, hey, don't be shy. They want you to do well, and just become the character, have fun with it, don't be in your head so much. That's why I gotta keep reminding myself too, like whenever, because I just recently did a casting workshop in LA where it was like the casting director was like, okay, that wasn't bad, but like just try again, but next time maybe just like just get out of your head and really be present in the moment. And I was like, okay, cool. So I come back and we do it again, and it's like, and then she's like, wow, that was good. That was really good. She's like, she's like, you just gotta just remind yourself just to stay out of your head and everything, and just, not think about it so much. So that's why I always just like, okay, because I'm always, I always go back to being nervous when I'm like, when I feel like I'm on the spot, except for when I'm on set and everything. Then I'm just like, okay, let's do this. Let's just, like, let's give it all we got. We're here to have fun, and,
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not like you have a theater full of people that are like watching your every move yet. So it's like, for those, few minutes, those few moments, it's like it's on. We're it's almost like we're playing a game of D&D here.
yeah.
Everybody's their own character, and really brings that intensity up. Cody Tudor, glad to have you watching, brother.
Hey, how's it going? Like,
So,
oh, stop making me blush.
shit.
Yeah, Cody, he's a great guy,
You know. Yes, he is. Excellent guy. Totally cool. Supports all of indie film, and is starting to do a lot more acting himself, which is really cool. So glad to have you, brother.
Yeah,
Um,
he's
so,
wonderful on set,
oh, for sure. So you kind of took that experience, and at what point did you take your shot at how did you find out, whatever your first film was, that you could get into it and stuff like that?
Oh, it actually happened on can't say by accident or anything, but like it was part of a class assignment and everything. Because I was in
Oh, cool.
film school, finally in I'm at Columbia College Chicago at the time, and it's the production class, the first like foundation production class that we have to do to move on in the major and stuff. And so we were all just because we had to do, let's see, what was it? We had to do like a minute short, like out in Grant Park across the street, by the lake and everything. They know students go there all the time, so nobody bothered us filming in a public place. And then
Nice.
let's see what else happened. Then we had to do a group project, and then we had to do the final project, which we had to like pitch our our own films for the class, and we had to shoot it on 16 millimeter. And yeah, I have it somewhere around here. I just gotta find that in the projector and just like kind of blow the dust off of it.
Finding moment.
Yeah, does it still work or something? And so the first one I did, I had like my mother and my sister and my sister's sister-in-law in it. I was like, hey, y'all want to be actors in it? Okay, cool. And then the kid who was assisting me, because we were in groups, he was acting in it too. And my mother made a Grim Reaper costume, and so I just kind of
Nice.
made something on the fly and stuff, and it was just like, my sister's sister-in-law was just, she had really no acting experience whatsoever, and it showed. And so and my professor was kind of giving me hell about it, but my sister and mother, they have more performing experience, so they were better in it. And so, and he said that
I think
too.
it's
And
just a
so,
comfortability.
yeah, and so because what happened was my sister was looking for her sister-in-law, and then she found her, but she saw her like kind of popping pills and killing herself, and she's trying to like get her and stuff. And then I had the effects, like the disappearing effect. I was having fun with it, and then she sees her later on with the Grim Reaper just kind of waving goodbye, and they disappear. So that was just the minute-long film I did, and then, Adam, the kid who was assisting me, like when it was time to do his Grant Park film, he had me in it. So he had me
That's
playing
awesome.
2 different roles, and I was talking to a pretty girl in it. And so it was really cool. And then the footage got messed up. And so now he had to like scramble and like put together a kind of really wild story. And it was like kind of and we got footage of like, a block of ice with like water shooting up through it and stuff. Cause we're just playing around out there, and it was just like, okay, like, oh look, there's water over here, and it's like, I'm like, is this a lake or something, or a river or something I don't know about? And so he got footage of that and stuff, and then with the footage that can be saved and stuff, it was like I'm seeing that and I'm getting possessed, and he's got all this animation going on, and I'm like, oh, that was so cool and everything, and so that was like kind of my first my first unofficial, actually it's my first official acting role basically. And then when we did our group project, they had me act in it. And so it was like based off of this this old fable about this this crafty little rabbit or something who tricks a lion or something. And so they updated it to like have me play like a robber or something like that. And then and then I try to rob this girl, but she kind of convinces me to go rob somebody else, and then I go rob them and
Gotta
get
love
busted, right? It's like the police station was like right there, and it's like, oh shit, okay. And then like we had a couple of PAs getting cop uniforms and and have me get cuffed and stuff like that. So it was just like, I'm being let off and everything. And people looking like, oh my God, what did they get him for? I'm like, I know, right? So it's just like,
I love it.
and it was like, because that was the first time also filming on a city street and stuff in the city. We went to the film office in Chicago, and we actually got permits, and we got police assistant. And that cop was really cool too. We shut off that whole, not the whole entire street. People could still walk through, but they couldn't park as movie location. Everybody's like, movie location? Where
Shit.
I'm like,
Did I be
yeah,
in
we're
it?
filming right here. And they're like, and some people were like, I think some people did get to be like kind of extras in it and stuff like that. They get to like kind of walk by or something and see, and it was just like, I guess they gave like a voice consent or something like that, even though the film was silent anyway. So
Oh well.
that was fun to do too. And then from there it was how do you say, I just got kind of a reputation for being pretty cool at acting and being cool to work with and stuff. Because then I remember I was finishing up some work in the lab, and I get a message from somebody. I'm like, who's this? And it was like, oh yeah, it was one of the kids that was a PA on our group project and stuff. So, and then because he's doing his final project, and then he was like, hey, do you want to be in my final film? And I was like, sure, okay, yeah. And he's on campus, so I just I headed right over to his the student housing over there where he was at, and then I got to play 2 roles too. I got to play a judge, a hard-nosed judge, and then I also played the Grim Reaper, because like the character is found guilty, and then he gets like kind of yeah, I know, right? He gets taken by the Grim Reaper or something like that, and that was just cool. I was like, I'm like, I do want to play like more of these dark, sinister type of roles and stuff. But then when I did my final project, I didn't act in it. I just, because because I pitched this the idea to my class and everything, and then I had my professor who was just like, yeah, he was a really cool Brazilian guy, like almost like a little bit older than me, he's kind of like in our age group and stuff, and he's cool with us and everything. And so I pitched to the class. My final project is a couple, they're kind of falling out because the girl just found out she's pregnant, the guy doesn't want the baby, and then one thing leads to another. She ends up dying in an accident, and then she comes back a year later, after like having given birth to the dead baby, and she shoves it down the guy's throat. So she shoves a dead fetus in the guy's throat, just like kind of like that, And then everybody was like, "Whoa!" And then my professor Miguel, he's a cool guy, he's like, "What the fuck is happening in your movie?" Like, what the fuck is happening here? And I was like, I don't know. It's just something that I made up on the fly and everything. He's like, okay, we have to do this. Okay, we have to. You got to make it good or something. Got to focus and make it. Have that Brazilian accent too, and I was just like, okay,
yeah.
Yeah, he was really cool. I wonder how he's doing today. Because we still keep up sort of on Facebook and everything.
Right on.
And my mother, she had a really huge crush on him. She's like, yeah, he's pretty easy to look at. And I was like, ooh, I'm a tail dad. You said, but yeah, my mother, she was always very charming, very out there, outgoing personality. God rest her soul. So yeah, and so yeah, and so
one of your fans has shown up. Phil,
oh, yeah?
What's going on, man? Love
How
that David Perry. That's right. Don't fear the Reaper.
Yes, you're not going to fear the Reaper. All right, and Phil, one of the best filmmakers that I've worked with that I never met in person. So it's like, and I was in New York recently too, but it's like, I was like, dude, next time I'm in the city, man, Phil, if you hear this, man, we gotta link up, because I gotta see what you look like in person,
Me too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm 6'2", but you could still stick me in a duffel bag. That's fine.
Okay, yeah. See, okay, if you I'm in Chicago right now. If you can make it over here when I, next time I head over to New York and stuff, I can put you in. I got one of my suitcases here. If you can contort or something in this one, I could probably fit you in this the Samsonite one I got. So yeah. Yeah, because I tell people that all the time, especially if they're going to Hawaii or Paris or something. I'm like, hey, take me with you. Yeah, I'm a lot lighter than I look. So, just I can hunt down in the bag like this and
I don't know. I'm not as limber as I was probably 20 years ago, but we might be able to make it happen.
Yeah, we might. Okay.
So you had an interesting role in Phil's I Slay on Christmas. Let us know a little bit about that.
Yeah, I got to film it remotely because, Phil contacted me and was like, hey, you want to be in it? And I was like, sure, okay, cool. Like, what you got? And then he sent me like a kind of a rundown. And yeah, Cody says just throw him in the backpack. Cody, I got you, man. I got you. Yeah, and if anybody saying I'm
small enough in a suitcase as well.
Okay, yeah, you can come too. You and Cody can both be in the same. Just got to fit between some of my clothes and everything. So we all good. I got you. So yeah. So now getting back to I Slay on Christmas now. So Phil had he contacted me and was like, hey, you want to be in it? And I was like, sure, okay, what you got? And then so he sent me like a rundown of what he wants me to do. And so basically, like, I don't know. Well, people have probably seen it by now, but so I'm watching something and I get possessed by it, like, and I turn all demonic and stuff, and I start regurgitating like some blood, like vomit shit and stuff like that.
Of this, Phil.
Yeah. Yeah. So. Yeah, and then so that one, and as I was telling you earlier before we went live, I was like, I had to pay homage to Demons, one of my favorite movies from the 80s,
Yes.
Like shout out to Jaretta and Bobby Rhodes and stuff, man. Y'all the best, Like the first celebrities I became friends with when I was, came in the business, Awesome people.
Yes.
And so what I did was I mixed like mouthwash with vegetable oil and some shrimp cocktail sauce. You know, it's
Ah,
very sweet and very tangy and stuff. And I was like, I drank some before I turned the recorder on because I can turn it on with my palm and stuff. And I'm just like, I drink it and I'm just like trying to hold it in while I was waiting for the record thing to come on. I'm just like, okay, it's here, it's here. And I just start convulsing, and then I start like growling and snarling, and then I just, I start turning into a demon, So and then I get up and run or something like that. I guess I gotta go make a cemetery my cathedral and whatnot. So that's what we gotta do, When you're a demon, you make a cemetery your cathedral, and the cities are their tombs, right?
right.
Yeah, yeah.
I can't imagine what that must have tasted like. Just thinking about it,
This was
I would
let's
not be
see,
able to keep that down.
you probably won't, and it's like, okay, like when you at a bar or something like that, it's not the new drink you want to try. So it's just like, like make me a demon vomit and like fireball or some shit or whatever. Because it was kind of tangy too, and it didn't burn or anything, but I felt like if I held in there longer, it probably would start burning, with the cocktail sauce and
Oh
the
yeah.
acid and mouthwash. I'm just like, oh. And my mouth felt like weird for a little bit after that. So I was like, I actually gargled with some real stuff, and then I showered afterwards. Like, oh my god, what the fuck did I just do? I'm like, I made horror. That's what I do.
I must get clean. I love it.
Yeah, I do too. The Phil's amazing. I'm like, dude, come on, man. We gotta meet in person. Come on, man.
He's like that untouchable guy. He comes out of nowhere. He talks to you. He tells you, all these great things, loves your work, and all of that. But yet no one's ever met him in person. And he's like done all these amazing collaborations. And I'm just happy as hell that you got to be a part of one of those. That's really cool. Such a good dude.
And I was also in this film, The Owen Brothers, with him and Joel Wynkoop and stuff. That was
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, it's another one I did remotely, and I was just like, oh wow, So it was like a true crime drama reenactment kind of thing. And I was like, okay, I like these. I want to do more of this stuff. Although I can only stomach so much true crime after a while, because I'm like, ooh. I was like, yeah, let me check my windows, because I saw the Night Stalker one, and it was like,
oh shit,
I saw that documentary, and I was like, wow. I mean, I know they long caught him, and he died in prison a long time ago, but it was still like just so, because I was just new to Los Angeles at the time as well, so I'm just like, okay, let me check and make sure the doors is locked and stuff, and make sure the windows are locked, even though I'm on the 27th floor. I don't know if he's gonna like climb up through the window that way, but still, I'm like, I'm looking at it,
stranger things have happened.
Yeah. Oh my god.
I mean, shit. And actually, well, we'll get to that shortly. But let's dial it back a couple of steps. So, what was your actual first feature?
My first feature film. Wow. Okay. So, that one was called Periods of Rain. It was it was written and directed by, let's see, what's his name, Jason Blackwell. He's a friend of mine. We haven't talked in a while. It's a long story and everything. And we used to go to church together, and we kind of like, just kind of bonded over the fact that we both love films and we wanted to make films and everything. And I was still at Columbia at the time, and then I know I had I did an audition for it. I had auditioned for 2 of the roles. I'm supposed to be like one of the mean jock characters and stuff like that. But then he was like, okay, cool. So you're not right for those parts, but here, I'm going to write you this role instead. I'm like, okay, cool. What you got? And so, because he told me, I'm like, oh, wow, okay. I'm like, I can do that. I can be a mean, drama student and stuff. I'm like, I can be like, yeah, I had a co-starring role on CSI Las Vegas, and so I know a few things about acting, and so basically my character's kind of like just ripping apart the main character's work, and then that kind of serves as a catalyst for how him and his love interest start talking to one another. And I'm just like, yeah, it was it felt pretty flat. So I was just like, yeah, I was telling them that and everything. And she's like, well, no, I don't think it felt flat. I think it was wonderful and all this. I forgot how she said it, but but that was like my 2 lines. And I was just like, okay, my first feature film, and I only got 2 lines in it. Hey, Meryl Streep had 2 lines for her first feature, probably. So it's like, hey, everybody started somewhere.
Damn, Skippy.
Yeah,
I mean, dude, I started out as a extra, as a zombie, and now I'm getting to speaking roles. So I mean, there's stepping stones out there in the Morgrat universe. Stepping
yeah,
stone. Don't be afraid to take it.
exactly. And it was fun. It was very it was a great experience, and I love the theater space that we shot it in. It was like a nice little 99 seater, like way up north and everything, and it was just
Nice.
like wow. So I'm like, and then every time I step into a theater space, I always have a good feeling. It's always something that's like, okay, like something about this feels right. And so
Sure. I mean, it's wonderful to hear that, because some actors, you especially mainstream ones are like, oh, my first film was horrible. Oh, it was drama, or something crazy happened and it was just a terrible experience. So the fact that your first experience was so good, it's a true testament to indie film, because I've yet to walk onto a set that didn't feel good, and I'm sure at some point maybe that could happen. But we've all been kind of blessed in that way.
yeah, yeah, mostly. If some sets weren't without its drama and everything, and it's like some stuff like I don't hear about until later. Other ones it's like you're kind of directly involved in. It's like, okay, you know what, this is not good, and we need to just kind of. And I'm like, there was one. Now, unfortunately, I'm not really ready to talk about that, but it was with a kind of a not a super famous actor, but it was like kind of he is sort of famous, and I'm just like, hey, you know what? I'm like, okay, y'all better get him. I'm like, y'all better get him, because the West Side of Chicago gonna come out, and it's not gonna be, it's not gonna be nice. Like the West Side of Chicago and The Semester I Spent in Brooklyn is gonna come out, and
Nobody wants to.
So nice.
I mean, there's just,
I might have to kiss somebody.
Exactly. I kind of feel like, just because it's indie film doesn't mean that you've done this, you've done that. That doesn't give you a right to have a 350-pound head about it.
Yeah.
You always should present yourself professional, no matter what it is you're getting paid, or even if you're not getting paid at all. It's called being a good human. And just from talking with you here thus far, I mean, you are a fantastic human. And that's a lot of why I think you get a lot of roles as well, because, you talked about the fact that you were able to adapt, you're moldable, you know what I mean? You take good direction. And that's one thing after I've interviewed so many directors, and that's the one thing they talk about. It's like the best actors to work with, like they take direction well. And it seems like you really do that. And everybody out in the Morgrat universe there in the comment section, has definitely attested to that. So that's incredible. So let's get into some of your other work. And one in particular that I thought was so good. Let's talk about this one. The Great Will Colazo.
Oh my God. Blood 666. Oh my God. The first film where I get actually first billing, not just top billing, but first billing. It was like when the movie's on, I saw my name first appear as one of the cast. I'm like, oh my God, I get first billing.
I've arrived.
Oh my God. Oh my dear. I was like, oh. I was just like, wow. And that was like that was one. I mean, I wouldn't say it's my favorite role, because I loved all the roles I played and everything. I always had fun with them. But this one, I was like, wow, I feel very honored that, Yeah, because when I read the first script, I was like, okay, my character's probably not a lot in this. And then actually, what how it was originally sold to me was like, well, I mean, of course, I was already sold because I love working with Will. He's just amazing. We became like really good friends. Me, him, Julie. We just
He's such a great guy.
he is just the absolute best. And it was like, and he was one of the first, not the first, but like one of the, well, actually outside of Chicago, basically one of the first outside of Chicago to actually take a chance on me. Like, because other people were like, okay, well, if they don't know you, like if they didn't see any of your films from the past, they're probably not going to want to, But I was like, okay, I was just like, I
It ain't
contacted
gonna
him. He
stop
was
me
like,
from trying. Shit.
yeah, exactly. So it's like, might as well. And it's like, okay, well, if not, I'll just try again later. And then that one though, I was on my way to was it Evansville, Indiana, to do another film, and then Will messaged me and asked me if I wanted to be in it because actually, David Sterling, over at Sterling Entertainment, he
Mhm.
actually suggested that I be in it. He's like, "Oh yeah, you gotta get David Perry in it," and I was like, "Oh really?" I was like, because I met him
Yeah.
like a year before. Yeah, I met him a year before, and I didn't think. I mean, we kind of we hit it off. We was cool and everything, but I didn't think I made that much of an impression on him. But there it is, and I was just like, oh. And then of course later on he tells me that like he wants you in a graphic sex scene with Jamie Morgan, and I was like, wait, with who? And I was just like, and I looked her, I was like, oh, Jamie Morgan. I was like, she's gonna be in it. I'm like, oh my god, I'm nervous now. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. She's been in a lot of stuff, and I'm like, oh my god. But when I met her on set, finally, she's just it was like we've been working together forever. She's just that much the best. And, I hope she's feeling great now because, so Jamie Morgan, if you can hear me, I love you, babe. You're amazing. She's amazing to work with. And, the sex scene in that film wasn't all that graphic and everything. And, we were okay with it. And, we had an intimacy coordinator on set and everything. And it was, very
Which is always
contained and
good.
close, and they edit it, just so it won't be too graphic. And I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, but I do warn people that I do strip down to my drawers in this one. So I mean, if y'all ain't ready to see all my chunky goodness hanging out, then I mean, just you might want to. Yeah, and my cousin was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to skip that one. I'm like, yeah, go on, because I'm like you're still a kid in my eyes, so no, you can't see this. No, I love him though. He's great. But that one was just a really great experience and everything, and we just had a wonderful time on set. And it was like they said, it's the first Camp Blood movie to be filmed on an actual campground because it was like it was off season during the winter months, so it was like it was freezing, it was raining, and so it was just. But we, what do they call them? The yurts or something like that. Not the tents or anything or cabins, but they're called yurts, I think it was. Yeah, I think that's what they're called.
That sounds
We were
about
in
right.
Yeah, we stayed in one of those and it was really nice, very comfortable and everything, very warm, but of course it was too warm. I had to open a window because I don't like overheating and stuff. but
It's like I'm
but
always
then
telling folks, us bigger folks, man, we hold the heat in. We're like furnaces. It's
yeah,
great.
exactly. Yeah, so it was just like yeah, but then there was like, oh my god, the hot water was tricky though. So like when it was time to shower and stuff, it was like, yeah, see, I'm like, I can handle cold air, but not cold water. I'm weird like that. So it was just like, okay,
I don't think anybody can. What the hell?
like, okay, I'm trying to shower in the morning. I'm just like, okay, this is not gonna work. Okay, so I'm like, and then they're like, no, wait a minute, you gotta do. It was like some kind of so I think I had to turn the water on the sink or something like that. Turn the hot water on there,
Mm.
and then the water was like it was a lot warmer and stuff. Like it wasn't like super hot, but it was like warm and like it was like I could kind of tone the warm blasts and stuff like that because then it would get cold for a little bit, and then I can just like mush up against the shower wall and stuff when it gets cold. I'm like, okay, ugh. Okay, it's warm again. Da-di-da-di-da-di-da-di-da. And then,
Right.
la di da di da di da. So yeah, so I took longer showers than usual because it's like,
That's right, Cody. We're leading the charge for you, brother.
yep, like
We're
chunky
bringing
guys do,
sexy
right?
back. We're bringing sexy back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Fantastic. He is
Mhm.
definitely on my list of directors to work with in a dream situation. That would be amazing. And I'm so excited to talk about this one because I'm a huge fan of it. And Will and I, when I had Will on the show about it, it's probably been about a year since I had him on. We talked about it, and I was like, this film was so fucking good. Oh man, I've watched it more than once.
Oh
Night of
yeah,
the
Night of the
Zombies.
Zombies. Yeah, Night of the fucking Zombies. I love it. It was Five Nights for Freddy or Five Nights with Freddy before that movie came out.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it was just
Only
like,
better, in my opinion. Nothing
oh yeah,
against Matthew Lillard, but
oh man,
I
he's
dug it. Like it
amazing.
was it. I don't know. It seemed more real to me. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun too, and that was my first time filming in Vegas actually, and that
Oh
was
shit! You got to go to
mhm.
Vegas.
Yep, I was like, I went over to Las Vegas for the first time, and then
Oh
casinos
shit! That was
everywhere,
probably like
and
a
so
whole new world to you.
it kind of was, casinos, slot machines everywhere, and so I was just like, oh, nice. Even in the hotel room, just just kind of had a little one by the bedside. No, not really. I'm just kidding. That's just
No.
how many slot machines. But that was just, and actually, like one fun fact, I've been to Vegas, never gambled once, never felt the need to, because I was just afraid of losing control because it would be like, but that's another story. But getting back to the Zombies, originally that was supposed to be a zombie movie, and Will had like a big cast attached to it and everything, and that's when I first contacted him. I was like, yeah, I would love to be in it. I already been in a zombie movie before, and it was a lot of fun to do. And then originally I was supposed to play like some kind of soldier or something like that, some kind of black ops thing, where it was like, okay, we raid some lab or whatever, and then there's a zombie in there, and I get bit by one, and I get shot in the head. So I'm like, okay, so it's not the biggest role, but hey, you know what? It's something. It's a way in, So that was really
Exactly.
cool. And then and I was supposed to. Cause I was doing a movie in LA already, and then I had to fly to New York to do that one. I was planning to, and then something happened, and then there was like a lot of changes and stuff. There was a big script change, and I was like, okay, cool, there's a script change and everything. And then the dates were now being pushed back, and so then I get the new script. I'm like, I thought it was Night of the Zombies, but I read it wrong. I was like, oh no, Zombies. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I was like, well, let's read and find out. And I'm like, okay, okay, cool, yeah, okay, yeah, what the, oh wow, oh shit,
Right.
oh my god, like, oh, oh my god. And I'm contacting Will. I'm like, dude, we got to do this movie. And then also, around the same time, I had met Sean C. Phillips, and then
Right.
then like I guess he heard about me on Shadow Marsh or something like that, because we were both in that one. I didn't meet him on set, but we became friends on Facebook, and he contacted me and asked me if I wanted to be in his directorial debut, Scream Bloody Murder. And then I was like, sure. He was telling me how it's a throwback to 90s slashers and stuff. And I was like, okay, I love the 90s slashers, So yeah, of course, count me in,
Sure. Who the hell doesn't?
what you got for me. And then we met for the first time in person on Zomghouls, and I was like, oh, there's Sean C. Phillips. Okay, just be cool. Okay. I'm like, okay, that must be Will walking around. He's wearing a mask. So I'm like, okay, I think that's him. And so, because there I'm still meeting everybody for the first time, except for Mike Ferguson, who was also in it. And I met him before, and I was like, oh, he remembers me because we were in Shadow Marsh together. And, we weren't in any scenes, but we met on
Such a
set.
cool dude, man.
Oh, man, the absolute best. I love Mike Ferguson.
It's like,
And then,
the Undertaker and the Hulk put together.
yeah, and he was really good in that too. I'm just like kind of hanging back and like listening to him film his scene, and I'm just like, oh wow, I'm like, this guy's intense. Okay, he's bringing it, and I'm like, wow, I'm just so excited because I'm like, I'm actually here, and it's like, I'm just watching this, like you said, this brand new world open up to me. Even though I've been in like show business for quite some time, I'm still like, it's still feeling like the first time and stuff, and I'm meeting everybody, and then like I met Felissa Rose for the first time because she was on set, and I
Oh
was like,
yeah.
and I saw her in their cute red dress and everything, and I'm like, is that Felissa Rose? I'm like, it looks like her. And I'm like, okay, just be cool. I'm like, so I'm kind of hanging back and everything, and and we talked briefly,
Let's
and
do
he's
a
like, hey,
sleepaway
man,
camp.
he said, well, yeah, but he's like, hey,
I
just
always
go
make
ahead and
that joke.
mingle. He said, what?
Yeah. I said I always make that joke because if you meet if you have anybody out there in the Morgrat universe has ever met her before, you're always like, love Jen, sleepaway camp.
Yeah, and I told her that too. I just walked right up to her, and I walked right up to her and I said hello and everything, and she's like, hi, she's really cool. And I was like, and I told her Sleepaway Camp is like, and I mean it too. It's like that film was so iconic and everything. It's like, and ahead of its time too, especially with the whole, like what do you
Exactly.
call it, the whole gender identity thing and stuff like that. And, it was like questioning, it was bringing that to the forefront before it was like 40 years before it was a thing. So I'm like, hey, shit, my hat's off to you. And then, and the ending is like, it's still forever one of the most iconic horror endings,
Oh, for sure.
the reveal and stuff. And she's just like, and you see the extra. I'm like, oh, wow. I'm like, they actually did that. Because the way I saw it was I saw Sleepaway Camp 2 first, because like every time I went to the video store, Sleepaway Camp 1 was always checked out or it was just gone. But
Yeah.
Sleepaway Camp 2 was there. And then I didn't see 3 until like a few years after that, because it wasn't at that Blockbuster, but it was at another video store I went to. And so I rented that. And then at the
I
same
miss
time,
those days.
yeah, I do too. That made my weekends and stuff. And that was like, it was something to live for. It was like, I knew there was, it was like kind of an early sign that, hey, this is going to be your life, and I'm like, what, working at a video store? Because that's what I ended up doing too. I was hanging out there so much that the lady there just gave me a job. And I was like, okay, cool. I can work on a movie and stuff. I'm in high school at the time. So it was just like, so it was like, I didn't even tell my parents that I got a job. I'm just like, yeah, I'm just going out for a little bit. I'll be back later. And then I come back late because we, had a late night. And my mother was like, where were you? I'm like, oh, I got a job. And so I'm like, I'm working at Video Magic up the street. So
No,
that was
I
kind
feel
of
that
like,
actually, because when I was teaching, because I was a music high school teacher for 24 years. I would always have like a part-time job, and it was like when it wasn't Blockbuster, it was I think it was called like Family Video. Yeah, that's what it was.
oh yeah, I've seen them before too. I never been there, but I had some of my earlier movies were there. Like it was there
Yeah,
for
yeah.
and stuff, and I was like, oh, cool.
So I
That
was
was
like,
like
you know what?
down
I
that one.
Yeah, it's like I spend half my life here anyways, so why not get paid for it? And there was like a job opening, and I'm like, yeah, I need a few days to, make a little extra cash being a single parent. So I was like,
Yeah.
sure, pay me to talk about fucking movies all day. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm
ain't
in.
it wonderful? Yeah. And then like for Halloween, at Halloween time, the staff had to do like their picks for the holiday and stuff. So like, and then one of my coworkers, she never watched horror movies, so I was like, so she didn't know which ones to pick, so I made her picks up for her, and I was like, okay, cool. So this one's more like maybe like we'll go vampires for your taste now, and I'm just like, and then I put Faces of Death in there too, just for the hell of
Oh,
it.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. That was always fun. So it was just like those were fun days, and I was just like, so I lived in the horror section, and then I even got to go in the back room and stuff too, because I was like, I had to put some stuff away up there, and other people couldn't do it, and I was like, yeah, I'll do it even though I'm only 15. I'll just, no one has to know I went back there. I just went past the beads and everything, the beaded little, those that little thing with the, and I was looking around, I'm like,
It's a whole new world, Charlie Brown.
who the fuck is? And then I was like, you know what? And then I was also like getting the idea of combining like porn with horror and everything.
Well, shit.
X-rated
I
horror
mean,
movies.
Trauma's been knocking that out since the '80s. Shit.
Yeah, that's another one I wanted to get on board with was trauma movies too, because I was like, because even when I was a kid, I was also like, making up like X-rated horror scenes and stuff and everything. And so like I'll admit my seventh grade teacher, I hated her so much. She was like, and she was a nun too. So it was just like, you know what? I'm like, ooh, I got something for that ass. So I'm like, I'm just like the worst way you could kill somebody, and I'm like, I drew this demon character that kind of was anatomically correct. And let's just say he forced that anatomic correctness in her mouth and out the back of her throat.
Sounds like something out of Glenn Danzig's playbook.
Yeah, I don't know who that is, but he needs to call me up and we can talk. We can do lunch, right? And,
he was the lead singer of the Misfits, Danzig.
Oh
Sandra.
yeah,
yep.
I think I remember their artwork. I loved it. Yeah,
he went and he started his own comic book company too. And let me tell you, some of what you just said is kind of like in there. So not too far of a stretch. Awesome stuff. Whether you like his music or not doesn't matter. But he's always been one of those guys that kind of likes that type of graphicness. Let's put it that way. Definitely not too far out of my wheelhouse as well.
Yeah. The most I know of is Cannibal Corpse and everything, because I remember this one kid in my class named what's his name, Charlie something. Yeah, Charlie Shaw, I think his name was, right? He signed my yearbook with a Cannibal Corpse lyrics, and I was like, "What the fuck did he just?" And I was like, "Cannibal Corpse? Oh, I heard of them." I'm like, "What do these guys got or something?" And I was just like, of course, I wouldn't listen to their music for like another few years or something like that when YouTube becomes a thing, and I see their videos, and I'm like, "Oh, cool!" And then they had some really cool T-shirts that I bought, and I was like, "Oh, wow!"
It's like even if you're not a fan of the music, you can appreciate the art because obviously it's death metal, which is definitely a love of mine. But the artwork was always so extreme, and it's like anything that pisses everybody off, I love it.
Yeah, I loved it too. I was like, I'm like, see, this is the stuff that I was like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, man, all this stuff was, it was like affirming that little kid that, kind of just stayed off to himself and drew horror pictures and, told horror stories, like I was in, what was it, third or fourth grade or something? Yeah, I think it was fourth grade. I had just seen Cellar Dweller for the first time. And then, so,
oh, what a good one.
I burned my class picture hoping that, they would get burned up too. It's a long story. And then, of course, I cut my picture out of the fold, because I didn't want to burn up with them. I'm like, no, I'm like, and then I drew like pictures of Cellar Dweller, like, like tearing them from limb one by one. And then my teacher at the time, I had her getting it a little bit. And then not as brutal as her grandchildren, though. Like those little bastards, they were in their grade. I think they were younger than me or something like that. And they were just little terrors and stuff, because they knew their grandmother was one of the teachers there, this sort of Medea type and stuff, that who did not play, no games whatsoever. But, thinking back now, she was really cool. I loved her, and she loved me too. So she was just, that was just a fun time. But still, I just, I was just, how do you say, venturing into my happy place, which was horror, and people who couldn't make the cut just had to get cut. They had to get cut. So it was just like, I had Cellar Dweller, just like, I wrote a little sequel and everything. 'Cause I think I told, who was it? I mentioned something on Twitter or X now. Who is it, Mancini or something like that? And I told him, yeah, oh, Cellar Dweller. I remember that one. When I was a kid, I wrote an unofficial sequel to that.
And
And
that's one
then,
of the great things about the fan film world,
yeah.
which has like become really good. Which actually we can roll one of your trailers
Oh,
right
yeah.
now.
What we got here?
Absolutely. Let me just. Oh my goodness! Stop it.
Yeah.
No, I'm finding it.
Okay, yeah, it's there somewhere, right? It's good though.
Exactly. And I need to put a stop on it. There we go. Because technology, as wonderful as no, it's not wonderful. Um, it
Oh,
never
yeah.
works the way we want it to.
Yeah.
But you
Who knows,
were.
AI trying to replace us.
I don't even want to talk about that.
Okay.
But we're going to take a quick look at one of the great fan films that you were a part of here, Scream Legacy.
Just got better.
As soon as
Hey, Tina from StreamYard.
commercial
I'm
goes
so excited to
by.
announce.
And there we go.
An ad we can skip. Okay, great.
Baby, can't you see?
Hey. Hey, need help with your luggage or anything?
I just have one bag. Think so?
Is your grandpa still up?
I don't think so. He's probably in bed by now.
There's no escape. I can't wait to need a hit. Baby, give me it. You're dangerous. I'm loving it.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Oh my god. My
Gritty.
second film to go viral. Yeah.
Gritty, this production is so good in every way. Every actor, amazeballs. Because I had the pleasure of watching this, and so do you out there in the Morgrout universe. You can go to YouTube and watch it right now, as a matter of fact. So you better put it on your list of things to do this weekend, especially if you're a Scream fan. So definitely check it out because I don't know. This is one of those films I wish could have went to the big screen and actually been part of the franchise, because the storyline is so good,
Yeah. Of course.
So what was it like being part of this? Because we're talking about 4.4 million views. That is
Yeah,
huge.
that's amazing. It's just like, and I'm still just like, wow, because it went like, I think it went viral over the weekend almost, like, or it went like viral enough when it went like, like, how do you say, its viral fate was sealed when Jamie Kennedy, who plays Randy in the Scream movies, he commented on it. He said, "Nice formula," and I was like, and I was hearing it in Randy's voice too, and I was like, I'm like, you mean Jamie Kennedy saw it or something like that? Because I don't remember if I put out a like a blast or anything like promoting it, saying, I invite anybody who was part of the Scream franchise to, to tune in on the 25th when it drops on YouTube or something like that. And so it was just amazing. And to have that, I was just like, oh, I'm just like, this is amazing. And so, and then, one of my friends was like, I don't know, like when I was showing some BTS photos and everything, he's like, "You're the killer, aren't you?" And I was like, "You'll have to watch and see." And I was like, everybody
You're
who
like,
saw
I
the
wish
movie
I
knew.
was.
Yeah. Yeah, they
You know
probably
what?
would.
And that actually brings up a very, very important point. And I was just having this conversation with somebody the other day that people that have the ability, and I know it's grim and everything, but come on, it's Reaper's Underground. Get the fuck out of here. To die on camera is such an amazing talent to have because it has to be believable, you know,
Oh yeah.
and it also makes you viable as an actor. Now, would you agree with that?
I would believe so. Yeah, because like like out of all the films I died in and everything, it was like I don't know. I mean, I wasn't really all up for like really long drawn out like
No,
agonizing
yeah.
deaths and stuff. But then there was that one in Zomghouls and stuff where I'm getting carved up like a pizza and stuff, and then after we finish, I go next door to the restaurant and have a slice of pizza because I was like, I'm just taking a little bit off of here and just yeah. But that was fun to do as well. And then a lot of people still look at it, and even like even with Scream Legacy, I mean, a lot of people saw it and they know I'm the first person to get killed in it and everything. And so
I wasn't going to say that.
oh. Well, I mean, 4.4 million people saw it, so they, it's
I
already, and Jamie Kennedy
just
saw
fucking
it
with
too,
you.
so yeah. Yeah, Jamie Kennedy saw it, so he told people, like, yeah, he's like, oh yeah, that guy got killed first. It was really, really bloody and stuff. Because like, and fun fact that blood splatter wasn't added until like much later, because like it was originally just supposed to be me getting like grabbed and snatched and everything, and so it was just like, yeah, that's all that they filmed and everything, and then they move on to the next part of the opener and all that stuff, and then and that guy who played, who donned the Ghostface mask, he was amazing in it, and it was like just watching him move in it. It was like, it's like, wow, he really got the moves down, like just really like amazing and stuff. And then I met the guy who does the voice for Ghostface. It's almost like really close to Roger Jackson, but like, I mean, not exactly like him, but it's like
It's
everybody
close.
knows it's like, yeah, it's close enough because like, because when you listen to Roger Jackson in interviews, that's how he actually talks almost. He just has to like raise the creep factor on it and everything. And
Isn't
so
that
that,
insane to have that voice? You know what I mean? And
yeah,
that's
it
your
was
everyday
amazing.
voice. So it's like, could you imagine what it's like when he rolls up to McDonald's and goes to make his order? And he's like,
Yeah.
hello.
Yeah.
What's
I'd
your
like to order
favorite
chicken nuggets,
McDonald's?
please. Yeah.
Uh,
But then a lot of
oh,
people had
man.
something, some people had a lot to say about it, and then I'm like, I'm scrolling
always
through the comments on YouTube, and they're like, oh man, you got the janitor first. I'm like, he was just like, one comment said, I remember he said, no, not the janitor. He was just minding his black ass business. It's like, I don't know. Like, I was just minding my black ass business. Because you know what? Like, if he seemed tired, like ready to go home or something like that, that's because it was just like, I had, like, earlier that day, I was just, I was at LAX, trying to like scrambling to get on the flight and stuff because there was an issue with Delta and stuff. We'll get into that part later. But then, so I ended up like going all the way around, like on the what do you call it, the taxi thing to Southwest Terminal, and just like I got on the Southwest flight, had a connecting one in Phoenix and then to Houston where we were filming. And good thing the hotel that they had me in was just like not too far from the airport. So I was just like, yeah, I was able to just, get in, settle down, and, decompress a little bit and then get changed and then just jump in the Uber and get on over to set. And it was an amazing set too. We're filming in the woodlands, and we're like, everything is surrounded by woods over there. And I'm like, it is like creepy cool as fuck. So I was like, I definitely want to go back there and visit again, So that was just, that was really cool to do. And we all just kind of hung out on set and everything. I I only worked one day, obviously, met some wonderful people, and they're like, and Zach, the director, he's just the absolute best. And it was just watching him work and everything, and everybody just, just have like this great love for the franchise, because we filmed this before Scream 5 was released. And so like when that one was, so I mean, I guess so, because it was, let's see, it dropped on YouTube after, like, was it late March or something? Yeah, 2 years ago, this March. So yeah, it was so it was a little bit after 5 got released, because they keep the plot line really secretive and everything. They don't want nothing leaked. So it was just like, so this one kind of just ignores the events of like 4 and 5, and so is what it is. And so, but it was just like they had a really great love for the franchise, and so that's what kind of it came through in the final product too. I mean, in my opinion, of course,
Totally.
which, in most people's opinions, actually, and so that was just a really great experience of mine. And even though I was just like only there for a short time, and it was great to like meet all these wonderful like horror fans and everything, and these young filmmakers and all that stuff. And I was like, wow, I'm like, where were y'all when I was in college? Because everybody was like, only like 1 or 2 kids were into horror movies back then. So I was just like, yeah. And so,
it used to be one of those things where, you could be a diehard fan. We didn't have all the conventions and stuff like now where fans can come out, they cosplay, they do all that stuff, like they do today. But back then, there really wasn't an outlet for that.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Because I was going to say, like, you could totally do like some indie, con type stuff. There's plenty of them. Even Days of the Dead you could do. We need to have you there. I think you should be there. Everybody knows on Reapers Underground, I bring you the best in underground entertainment. And David Perry is definitely someone you need to get in line with and start watching the films that he's done. As a matter of fact, we need to talk about one of your upcoming films that's coming out, Springsville.
There's
nothing I love better than something that's kind of, either loosely based on a true story or just true story, period. So kind of take us into that here for a second.
Yeah, that one is it's an anthology horror, actually, believe it or not. And so, that one, I met Les Nolan. He's amazing, first time filmmaker, and he's just like, he has this like really great style to him. And I'm like, okay, cool, what we got here? And I'm like, okay, we don't do like that. Okay, I like it. And so, and again, it was something I filmed like in like one day. All my scenes were filmed, and so I was only in Ohio for like that weekend, and so it was just really. I'm
sure that was
really amazing. It was, but like my hotel and everything was like, right near the highway, and I could see a sign where like New York City wasn't too far away. So I was like, okay, cool. I want to head to the Big Apple. Like I know which highway to take. So yeah. And so that one was like very much fun and all that stuff. And then, he had some stuff that was kind of like an Easter egg to, was that the John Hughes films, like the Home Alone and all that stuff, like, and I'm like, oh, cool, and then there's like a little wink and a nod to Nightmare on Elm Street in there, and I was like, oh yeah, because that takes place in Ohio too, so it was just like, yeah, and so that was a fun weekend, and so and my character, I'm playing like this. I'm playing this cop that always, comes to the town of Springsville every Halloween just to kind of get to the bottom of like some strange mystery that happened, and like these really brutal murders that took place like some years ago that kind of just like, I mean, the character is kind of tortured by them, but he he just always has that drivenness in him to like come and face that, you know. So it's like that was a very interesting character to play as well. And
Very serious.
yeah, it was, you know, I was like because at that time I was still used to doing like horror comedies and stuff like that. So it was like, you know,
Sure.
I could play it kind of serious, but like then with some comedic elements to throw in the mix and all that stuff. But this one was just like straight serious, you know, kind of I kind of let my intense side show a little bit, and so that one was
Well, that's good though.
that one was
You know?
really fun to do. Yeah. And that one I
Hell
can't
yeah.
wait till that gets released. It should be I don't have an official date or anything yet, but there's a short that's Welcome to Springsville that's on YouTube now. As of now, I think it's still up there. Yeah, it should be. But yeah, so that one was really good, and that's a good kind of introduction to the official feature and everything.
Absolutely. And we're going to go ahead and roll the trailer. Hold on a second. Unfortunately, that popped up again, so I need to
It
go.
popped up. What you call it? Yeah.
Whoa, hold on. Here we go. Like I said, you know, technology is, especially with StreamYard, is not always the most fun. I have to share the screen first. Oh, let's grab it real quick, and we're going to take a look at this trailer for Springsville. All right. Let me, oh, shoot. There we go.
A 711 production. A Les Nolan film. Springsville, Ohio. Believe it or not, this was once a nice, peaceful piece of land.
Look around you guys. Do you guys see any fucking candy in the store?
Nowadays, people just try to avoid it.
Fuck you, you little bitch!
Are you the boogeyman?
This is Springsville.
Yeah. All right.
All right. So, is that part of the lore? Was there like a masked person doing these things in that particular area?
I'm not sure, but you know, I'm kind of curious to find out. I'm like, if that was the actual case. Otherwise, you know what? I think it could be based on a true story, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre was based on a true story. You know?
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, that one was kind of like, yeah, you know.
But it just
like,
kind of like took its own form.
Yeah, something like that, you know.
I mean, it looks really cool, and I can't wait to see it. And everybody out there in the Morgrot universe, I think, wants to see this as well, because it's right in our wheelhouse. Very brutal. Love the mask. It's totally killer. So definitely we will be looking for this as the year goes on. And of course, here at Reapers Underground, we will make sure to share any updates on it as we get it. So here's kind of like the shameless plug time of the show. where can everyone find you and start to go through your catalog?
Oh yeah, so I'm on IMDb, so that way you can see all the films I've done, and you can also see some BTS of the films I did, as well as my earlier work and my reel and everything, any clips and stuff. And so and also you can follow me on my Instagram page, official_ David Perry. And so that's my official Instagram page, and you can also find me on Facebook and stuff. So I'm sure there's a bunch of David Perrys, but I only have that one account where I'm just just got my classic it's got my classic scowl, that kind of got me attention in the first place almost. So I'm just like, and then you can follow me on X as well, at David Perry 88. And so that's my how do you say, that's how you can find me on social media, basically.
Awesome. So very approachable. Everybody out there in Morgrot universe, you can feel free to send them a message and with any other questions that you may have, because I think everybody was just a little bit more captivated by hearing, you talk up in the stories about each of the films. And a lot of these guys are on Tubi. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, a lot of them are.
Exactly. Tubi is the best place ever.
Even my earlier films are still up there. The Hostile Takeover, that was my second feature film, where it's a comedy, and so
awesome.
That was what I was trying to do. I remember when I got the script for that, and I was just reading it and busting up laughing the whole time. I'm like, wow, I can't wait to do this one. And that was, and also another film, my first, actually the biggest film in my career at the time, Not Another Zombie Movie. I'm one of the stars in that. And so that one was another one. Before it got on Tubi, it was dropped on YouTube, where it actually amassed 2 million views, which is amazing. And I was like, wow. So it's kind of a cult classic, so to speak. So that one, I'm really proud of that. I have fond memories of that one as well, because we filmed that one in 2014. I think because everybody had, at the time had jobs and stuff, regular schmegular jobs and everything, 9-to-5ers and stuff. So we had to film evenings and weekends. So mostly weekends, where it was so we filmed from late January all the way to the middle of September of 2014. That's, wow. So all that stuff had to be spread out over weekends and stuff. And so it was trying to make sure everything remained consistent and everything. And it was just okay, did I have facial hair then, or I don't remember. Do I have, and then oh my God, funny story. So one of the, if you see the movie, you'll probably notice it too, because I was watching it with a friend recently, and he was like, is that guy reading his lines on his phone? I was just and I'm looking at him, I'm oh my God. Cause I think, Latoni, who was playing that character, he was just attached that day or something like that. So he didn't really have his lines together, but it was he's looking at it and he's just he looked like he was reading it, and everybody was is that guy reading his lines off the phone? I'm I didn't notice it at first until a few years after it came out, and then we were watching it, had a group over to watch it and everything, and they're wait, is he? And I'm oh my God, he is. I'm oh. Oh my God. But that was just it's memorable, basically. It kind of adds to the
the overall flavor.
Yeah, it was a really fun, laid back set. And this guy Jay Davis and Dante Diesel, the Chicago based talent and everything, they're the absolute best. And I was they were one of the first people I started working with when I was getting out of Columbia and doing student films and stuff and everything. I was I started doing indie films and all that, and I was wow, so it was they were just amazing to work with. All the directors I worked with, they've been great and stuff, And Not Another Zombie Film, it was basically a parody of the zombie, apocalypse, all that stuff, when it was it was a big thing. We still had The Walking Dead that was in its prime, so to speak, or whatever. And it was like, and we had all this, everything, everywhere you turn was just a zombie movie here, zombie movie there. So it was just like, okay, let's
Makes
do
perfect
one.
sense.
Yeah, and so, and it, it basically it doesn't take itself too seriously. It's just, get some popcorn and a few beers and maybe smoke a joint or two and just enjoy it. Although you can enjoy it, not you don't have to smoke and drink to enjoy it too. It's just yeah, because I enjoy
Exactly.
it. I don't do either of those things. I mean, it's cool for people that do, but I mean, me, I'm just I was always slow, so. And
All
then
good, brother.
yeah, it was just like an amazing time, and it was really but that's also when I really fell in love with acting, and I fell in love with the process of filmmaking too, because I met so many people. Like, we had like hundreds of extras that wanted to come out and be zombies or be victims of zombies. Like, I remember this one mother who had like a 5-year-old daughter who was like, "Ooh, I want to get eaten by a zombie," and I'm like, "Oh, she does?" Huh? I'm like, my kind of kid, Just,
Oh,
we
that's
even
incredible.
had like we even had some zombie kids like eat one of the main characters and stuff, and it was just
Nice.
it's really cool. It was a fun ride. That was it was like you'll notice me like with this. Oh my god, and that helmet I wore in it, because I play a mentally challenged character, and so I was wearing this helmet. I think it was one of the director's kids' helmet and stuff like that, because they played like junior football or baseball or something like that. And the helmet was like 2 sizes too small, so that thing was just like it was putting pressure on the noggin. So it was just like
Wrangle it on your head.
yeah, but it came off pretty easy. I didn't have dreads or nothing like that back then, but it was just like, so it kind of fit really well and stuff. And I was just like, but it was still like, I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, it's good. Yeah, I don't have many lines, but it's still a good thing. So, and I was just like, how do I? And I was like, but it came off pretty easy. We didn't have to have no margarine on standby, so that's a good thing.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well,
I
it
think
has
some people-
been
Yeah,
an absolute blast having you on tonight.
Yeah.
And getting a look into this amazing career that you have going. So many great films, and I, like we said before, everybody out there in the Morgue Rot universe, it is not hard to find his films. If you're a Tubi subscriber, or just download the damn thing. A lot of David's films are there. You can watch them, and they are so good. And it's such a versatile actor as well. So many different types of roles. So it's one of those things that, a lot of people talk about typecast people. David is not one of them. So much depth, so much awesome. He brings so much energy to his roles. And in my opinion, has worked with some of the best directors, film companies in indie film right now. So please follow him. He's so humble, as you can very well see. So don't be afraid to reach out. Say, hey, David, I loved you in, that one or this one or whatever. So check it out. That's why I've always said, since I started this show 3 years ago, the best art creativity is in the underground. So I want to thank you so much, David, for joining me tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's wonderful.
Oh, absolutely. It was definitely a no-brainer for me, because I've been a fan of yours for a while. And I was like, you know what? I want to take the chance. I want to see if the man will join my show. And you did, and I'm so happy for that. So for all would-be actors out there, horror enthusiasts, what is your lasting message for them?
I would say, go for it and have a great time. It's gonna, like, as actors, we have our challenges and everything, and this is a tough business on us, and it doesn't apologize for that. And so, but hey, you still gotta just show up and give it your all, and celebrate the wins along the way, even if they're not really big. And just a win is a win is a win. So just celebrate them and just have a great time. And even if it doesn't happen right away, or if it happens really fast, just stay positive, be happy. And so it'll be fine. Just how do you say, it's just, as cliche as it sounds, it really is the journey and not the destination. So it's just have at it and have fun. You're going to meet wonderful people, and it'll be you'll be proud that you did.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And at the same token, the most important thing you should always do is to remember to stay heavy.